What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 17th of April today. We are about 21 hours and 14 minutes away from closing this new day that we've just opened up. We're moving down a little bit. It seems as though we've moved down. We might have found our low here yesterday, and I think that that's a very suitable area to find a low. Right, we found support here, or I guess we found support right there on a closing basis, some resistance there, support right there on a wicking basis. I'm sure if we were on a 4-hour aspect, we might see some more significance. Yeah, kind of resistance there, whatever. Right? Maybe actually it's not that significant. It doesn't actually seem that significant of an area, but perhaps we do go a little bit lower. Perhaps this is the low. I like it as the low because if we look at this from a relative low to a relative high, we're right at the 382. And it's absurdly common, especially with strong moves like this, to find support at the 382. I did make a purchase down here, right? And I'm sure a lot of you did as well. I saw that on X.com. I saw that in YouTube comments. Good job, everybody who bought down here. It's really important to be patient, right? It's okay if you're looking at something you want to buy and it takes off without you. It's not okay if while it takes off without you, you FOMO in and then you could have just bought at a better area. Wait for the pullback. I would even say, and this might not seem accurate, this might not seem honest or truthful to some people, but this is, I mean this 100%. This is how I am. And it used to seem weird to me whenever I started trading, whenever I started investing. But now I get it, right? It makes a lot more sense. When you're better with risk management, you'll understand what I'm about to say here. I think buying here, right there, is smarter than it would have been to buy at these prices here. Noticeably, you would be at a lower price. This is a more ideal price. And of course, literally speaking, this is a better price to buy than this is. But whenever you throw risk and emotion into the equation, the person that bought here is not tactical. Maybe if they bought that wick on the downside, but I'm talking about on the way up. You're not tactical. You're chasing, and it worked out for you. Good. It happened to work out for you in this sense, at least so far. Maybe you go lower. You never know. But the person that bought here, you are tactical. You're taking the opportunity when it comes, and you're not chasing. Over time, the person that is tactical versus the person that's not tactical, they're the ones that are going to reap the rewards, or at least not get reaped themselves. Their rewards will not be they won't be reaped. I think, right? Reaped. That's the past. It wouldn't be repped. They won't be taken away, right? If you're tactical and you're not just chasing on the emotion, you're going to be better off overall. And I'm just saying that I really think that anybody who bought here, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but good job. Just good job taking it upon yourself to buy at the right moment. Same thing with anybody. Even if you bought at the low ends of this consolidation phase, good job, right? Even if we slipped lower, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with buying a relatively high price and the price going lower. There's nothing wrong with that. There is something wrong with buying the relatively high price and then selling at a lower price. There's something wrong there. Inevitably, XCN, OnyxCoin, regardless if you go down, regardless if you go sideways, you're going to move up. All paths lead to the sky in a very, very short amount of time. So especially to the people who bought within the last 12 hours, 16 hours, good job. Really good job, guys. All right, let's continue. Let's stop patting ourselves on the back here. So here we are at about 1.76 cents right now. I am curious to see if we go lower. I like this as a low, right? I like that 382 from a low to a high. Bouncing off the 382, it's classic, but here's the deal, okay? On a 1-hour basis, we moved up. We had the move, but it sold off pretty damn hard, didn't it? We found resistance, harsh resistance right here at prior areas of support. And then we closed here for a second attempt at prior areas of support as well, just kind of confirming that, stepping down with less volume as we're building, I might add. That's not a good look. In my opinion, that's not a good look at all. You look at the 1-hour time frame, and in the RSI, we're just finding resistance at the same areas that we found resistance all of these times here. Could we be in another consolidation phase down here where we later break down to lower prices? Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but I think it's possible. I haven't sold any of my XCN. I haven't sold any OnyxCoin since I bought down at those lows, right? And I think that, I mean, maybe some people have. Maybe they timed it perfectly and sold that high, but I'm still waiting, even though I am suspicious and a little bit under the impression that we could go lower. I'm not trying to sell here because we could at any point in time move up. I don't have enough conviction to sell right now, right? Before, whenever I made my last sell, I had some conviction that we would see a pullback, right? We were in the midst of a massive move, and the move wasn't over, but more conviction here. We've got more of a reason to pump than we do to go down, or even if we do go down, the pump's going to be bigger than any kind of downside we've got. So I think it's more risky to try and play the game here. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but that's just my opinion. With that in mind, if we were to go lower, and we could, I think the next area to consider, which normally is not the deal, but this cycle, the 0.5 has been on point for us in crypto. We've found support at the 0.5 time and time again in all walks of crypto. Bitcoin as resistance, as support, OnyxCoin, all types of cryptos have been finding significance on their 0.5s. I don't know why. That's not normally a thing, but this cycle it is. It has been for years now, technically. It's like it's a normal thing. Anyways, I'm getting hung up on that. 1.4 cents could be where we go. And the thing is, talking about this low here, we were looking back, there was actually not really that much significance here. That 0.5, that's a significant looking level. Resistance, support, 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 resistance, resistance there. Going back in time, all the way back in time, you found a little support there. You found like a wick of resistance there. It's not the most significant back there, but more relatively speaking, it is significant. So it wouldn't freak me out. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. It wouldn't freak me out. I wouldn't be scared at all if we dropped another 17%. In fact, it would make a lot of sense if we did. I'm not saying that we do. If I really expected that we did, if I had a high rate of conviction that we did, or that we would do this, I would be selling here. I would be selling at virtually the same price that I bought at, a little bit higher, you know, but for like a neutral after fees and everything, probably not making any money on that, just like a neutral, a net zero kind of interaction here and waiting for lower prices. But I'm not selling here. I'm happy to buy in this area and wait for the price to go lower because this does not amuse me. What amuses me is what's to come. This is going to be a lot larger of a move. And I want to set the record straight because some people seem to be confused. Earlier, I was talking about this move potentially taking us up to 5 cents, right? If we're looking at this as a bull flag, and I think this is a bull flag, it's safe to say, if that's the low, and maybe it's not, let's put it down at 1.4 cents here, like I think it could go to. That measure move would still take us to 4.8 cents. That's crazy, right? 4.8 cents. That measure move, guys, that could happen in a week from now. By the end of April, it could happen. Let alone if that is the low right here. And if it is the low, we're going above those prior highs. We're going above 5 cents. We might even reach for 6 cents. Measure moves, you guys, are just ideas. They're not requirements. You can fall short of them. You can exceed them. You can well exceed them. You can inevitably reach them but not hit them immediately, although to be fair, measure moves, breakout moves do tend to happen pretty fast. They do, relative to the pattern at least. Right? Like if we've got we got like a 2-week long formation of a pattern here from the flagpole to the flag itself, it's probably not going to be a 2-month long adventure up here, right? It'll probably be half the pattern's time altogether, or something closer to the total time of the pattern, something like that. I believe what it is like if the pattern takes an X amount of time, the breakout move should be half that time or a third that time. Maybe it's 2/3. I forget what it is. There's an old rule of thumb with that, but it's not a guarantee, right? Everything's kind of different in its own way. I'm getting distracted here, though. All I'm trying to say is somebody was, or that multiple people were asking about the 20-cent targets and above, because I was mentioning in this move that we'd be moving up to 5 cents, whether it's just below, just above, right on there, wherever it is that we're moving to. This is not a new target, right? This is a stepping stone on the path to the old target, the original target that we have, which is 20, 26 cents, 30 cents, at least like 15 cents right up there by the end of June. Depending on how fast we move, how high we go, that could determine how high we go overall, right? If we move faster here, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but I think that if we make this move by the end of April, it puts us in a rather precarious situation, because then at this point we might not see a 26 cent price. Maybe we still see 20 cents, or perhaps we really do stop at 15 cents. The reason for this is that XCN to BTC, my theory is that this is actually going to be much more indicative, much more helpful in determining our high for the USD pair than the USD chart itself will be. Does that make sense? XCN BTC, let me explain. Where we topped off last time was perfect with the support area of this last consolidation phase, right? Make no mistake, you didn't stop anywhere. You didn't just stop anywhere random, is what I'm trying to say. You had a whole straight move down here. You had a whole straight move down here. Where did you stop? Not where you were moving like butter effortlessly, or like a knife through butter effortlessly through the abyss. You stopped for resistance at a prior area of support where you stopped through the abyss, right? You didn't stop anywhere else, so of course you stopped here. When you go higher, where are you going to stop? Well, the next pit stop likely would be something like this. And it just so happens to be that the measure move of this bull flag from a low to a high here, that measure move from that low on the flag there, it takes you right up to the base of this area here. It takes you right to this line right there. Perfect, right? The wick there, right there. What I'm getting to is that while this, in correspondence to Bitcoin and the expectations we have for Bitcoin, this illuminates a path to prices that are at 20 cents, even 30 cents or more by the end of this next move, by the end of June. The thing is, if Bitcoin doesn't move, if it's at these same areas, but OnyxCoin is moving, then that means that this is going to have an easier time growing. And by the time we hit this, that's when we're done growing. That's when I think OnyxCoin is likely going to take a step back like it did last time. And it doesn't, Bitcoin can move up and OnyxCoin can still move down, right? Bitcoin can move down or chill and OnyxCoin can still move up. What we want to see is both of them move up together, because if OnyxCoin and Bitcoin are moving up together, the OnyxCoin Bitcoin chart is going to have a harder time moving up. And we're determining our high based off of this. Let's make it make sense if it doesn't make sense, right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros, 1, 9, okay? Google calculator, 5 zeros, 1, 9. Oop, 1, 9. Right? Let's get it a little bit more specific. 1947. 1947. If OnyxCoin over the next 2 weeks makes a move up, and therefore over the next 2 weeks sees this reading where we think it's going to top off versus Bitcoin, it's the end of April or the beginning of May, and we're up here at our next target areas. Bitcoin maybe in the next 2 weeks at the highest, I think would be at about 111K. That's the end of the month target for me. So we're going with 111K. At 111K at this price, that would give us a price of, okay, so that's still actually not that bad, to be fair. 21.6 cents, but it's not 26 cents, right? Does that illuminate at least a little bit? And that would still require Bitcoin to be at 111K by the time that we hit here. If Bitcoin's growing more, that gives us, if OnyxCoin hits this price versus Bitcoin and Bitcoin's at a higher price than 111K, we likely will see a higher price. Well, no, we will. Literally, I mean, if OnyxCoin is worth this and Bitcoin is worth more than 111K, we will see a higher price than this. But if OnyxCoin keeps moving up while Bitcoin's stalling or not making strides higher, by the time that we hit this, we could see prices that are, instead of at new all-time highs, around our all-time highs, something like that. But I gotta admit, I didn't think that it'd be 21.6 cents. So that's kind of relieving, actually. It seems that even when I'm trying to be pessimistic, we can't really disregard the 20 cent area being a very realistic target here. So I don't know if I have anything else I want to say. That last part, really, I went on in great detail to explain that, just because a couple people were concerned, it seemed, that I've forsaken the 20 cent target. It's still on, guys. It's still on. But if we move up from here, if we see a breakout, right, like this, it's not going to be a one-step process. We're not just moving all the way up to 20 cents, right? We're going to move up, we're going to consolidate. We're going to move up, we're going to consolidate. And this next move up, before we consolidate, it's pointed to prices just below or just above 5 cents, even 6 cents, something in that area. So very exciting. Very, very exciting. The reason why that's exciting, again, to complete the thought and end the video here on a good note, is that, and this is why I'm not selling, is that as scary as it might seem to drop down this low or even lower, I don't think we go that low, the move up that we're going to have is expected to be here at a minimum. Maybe even here. And that's just the next phase, let alone the overall move. So why would I play with this when I've got this? All I have to do is wait. You know what I mean? So not financial advice, not a financial advisor. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw the price dropping down to the 0.5. I really like this area here at the 382 as support. I really like it. I have no problem calling that as a low. It just wouldn't surprise me if we go lower. There's not enough conviction to the downside, in my opinion, on the 4 hour, but it's there. It's got the opportunity to go down, right? We had the chance here to move higher and we did nothing with it. All we did was found resistance, right? We had volume come in and then it didn't build as we were building here. The 1 hour is at an area that we've rejected multiple times throughout this consolidation phase. It sent us lower each time. So, and maybe not lower each time. Let's see. I guess here it was a higher low. This time it was a lower low, but still it sent us lower than the high each time. Maybe not to like lower lows each time, but I digress. All I'm trying to say is it wouldn't surprise me if we went lower. But in the case that we don't go lower, in case this is the low and we rip from here, and the chart's a little deceitful right now, and OnyxCoin can do that. It likes to defy gravity. It likes to mess with your psyche a little bit. I'm holding on for that reason, right? I don't care. Go ahead, drop down to 0.5, drop down to the 618. I don't care. Where you're going is what interests me as far as the upside, not where you're going to the downside. I'll buy more if I want to, but I'm not selling here. If I see something in the charts while I'm away, while I'm not making a video, if I find something, an underlying reason that makes me believe more so that Bitcoin's going to drop, the markets are going to drop, OnyxCoin could drop. If I see something like that, I'll let you guys know. If I sell on x.com, I'll let you guys know. If you want to follow me at Chris Harris 85, I just got to click the profile button there. That's me, and I will post anytime that I buy, anytime that I sell. It's always on here. So if you're ever curious about that, but I'm not planning to sell. I'm open to it. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I'm open to selling, but I would have to see something that convinces me more that we're going down. Right now, I'm just like, I could see it happening, but I'm not convinced. I wouldn't bet on it happening. If I was betting on it happening, I would sell. So, and again, anytime I talk about selling, it's just a trading position. 95+%, really of my whole portfolio, like 98% of my portfolio doesn't move. It just sits there, right? I trade with a small percentage of my portfolio, okay? And I think that's how anybody should do it. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but if this is your life savings, if this is serious money that's supposed to do serious things for you, why trade it like a degenerate gambler, right? You're gambling, basically, right? Like you're taking bets whenever you do that. Whether it's leverage or it's spot, you're taking bets. Why do that with your life savings, right? That's not the point. You let it sit there. You let it grow, gain interest for you, right? You can't do that if you're playing the game, right? Playing the game, you should use a small amount of money. That way, if it goes wrong, you're not emotional. That way, if it goes wrong, you still have money on the side. That even if it goes against you, you can still make money. But I don't know, right? That's just my perspective, and I think that's a lot of successful investors' perspectives as well. But I've got nothing else for you guys. I've gone on long enough. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. 1.76 cents now. Inevitably interpreting prices to be up at around 4 cents, 5 cents from here. This is really looking like it's going to be a lot faster than we anticipated originally, which is fine with me, man. But this bull flag does not lie. This bull flag doesn't lie either. These bulls got hips, and those hips don't lie, baby. They're going to swing for the fences here pretty soon. I'm done talking. Bye-bye.